Give the floor to the representative of the Syrian Arab Republic, who asked for the floor to make an additional statement.
شكرا سيد الرئيس.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, my country is deeply attached to brotherly relations that it has with Kuwait. And every time that I've spoken about the presence of Kuwaiti terrorists in Syria, I have very clearly stated that I wasn't targeting the government of Kuwait. However, we must draw the government's attention to the existence of those terrorists, to the existence of those that finance terrorism. In other terms, in other words, there are Kuwaiti citizens that are causing Syrian blood to spill in Syrian territory. So I don't understand why the Kuwaiti representative is so sensitive when we talk about terrorism. There are Belgian terrorists, UK terrorists, Australian terrorists. I don't understand why tensions are running so high. There are terrorists from around 100 different countries present in Syria that are fighting and that are killing Syrian people. No one was particularly moved, and they told us to refer the issue to a subsidiary body responsible for terrorism. Why is the Kuwaiti representative so sensitive when we say that there are Kuwaiti terrorists on Syrian territory that belong to a Salafi movement? How can we reject such remarks when the Carnegie Institute itself has published a study on the Salafist movement in Kuwait? We're not talking here, what I'm holding up are not press cuttings, but are posters that are distributed in Kuwait, distributed by a number of individuals, some of whom are members of the Kuwaiti parliament. Individuals that have collected some $100 million together to send into Syria. Many articles have been published by many newspapers, including the New York Times. We've got a wealth of evidence at our disposal, and we've submitted that to the Security Council and subsidiary bodies responsible for the fight against terrorism. We will not settle simply for words. Indeed, we have sent hundreds of pieces of evidence to the Counterterrorism Committee, evidence on the presence of foreign terrorist fighters in Syria. These include Kuwaiti nationals. There are Syrian terrorists fighting in Syria that are fighting the Syrian government. Am I going to become moved and overcome with emotions if I say that there are Syrian terrorists fighting against the Syrian government in Syria? No, because there's a fact. There are Syrian terrorists, foreign fighters that are fighting against the Syrian government in Syria. This is a fact. We're just being entirely candid, open, and transparent. We've got no problems. We're not piecing anything together falsely. You know what we're talking about. Reports have been published by the Security Council on foreign terrorist fighters. The Council 4 or 5 years ago was denying that. They said there are no foreign terrorist fighters in Syria, and today the Council recognizes the existence of foreign terrorists. A number of you are simply competing to fight against these terrorists, cloaked in hypocrisy. We're all very sensitive when we talk about those wreaking havoc on us. Hundreds of thousands of Syrians have been killed by terrorism. Terrorists have tackled civilian infrastructure. Civilian infrastructure has been damaged as a result of foreign interference. I've got no resolutions to table. We've got 22. Do we really need new ones? I'm not tabling any more resolutions. We've got 12 resolutions aimed to tackle terrorism, but let's put them to work. Let's implement them. Let's implement these 12 resolutions that have come from this council. This will put an end to the problem. But that we say something and that then we behave in the entirely contradictory fashion, well, that's the height of hypocrisy. Thank you.
I thank the representative of the Syrian Arab Republic